What's up, guys? We're so happy to be back on, I think it's the 11th episode of the Men's Club podcast. Oh, yeah. All that said, I am TJ.
I'm Jordan.
I'm RD.
And I'm Pops. And this is about to get real. So, since we've talked about it now, and since the big bad agency, the ATF, is trying to push it down the pipeline.
One of many.
Yeah.
But the one that
really makes
this,
me mad.
the one that affects
right now.
this the most.
How long is it till we see a mass shooting or a home invasion or, like you said, a school shooting with a PDW or a pistol-braced AR?
Or a friggin' Glock and a micro-Roni, for that matter.
Yeah, just something. Because that's what always seems to happen.
Or a friggin' 10-22 pistol with the pistol brace on it. I mean, it could be anything. It doesn't matter.
No. And we're going to call it out. We're going to say, oh, that's a PDW. That's why this was so bad. You were able to conceal it. I don't know if anyone's ever read the laws about building a PDW or has tried to build an AR PDW. They're this long. You need a coat. You need a coat, my guy.
And if you're carrying a coat that big,
bag.
you're just as well to go ahead and strap the full-length AR on because it's going to hide it.
My Micro Draco has a brace on it.
No.
You're not concealing that.
No, you're not. And that's the thing. When you added that pistol brace, it made it longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's the thing, too, and I'm going to go ahead and say it because the pistol brace, even an SBR, the purpose is not concealability. The purpose is mobility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not even about lethality. It's so much more lethal because of how short it is. It is less lethal because of how short it is. Your velocity drops dramatically when you put it in a short barrel.
What is the powder burn of a 5.56? It's 14 inches, is it not?
I think complete burn is 14 inches, and that's where people say, oh, it's got complete powder burn, so it doesn't push anything after that. No, it does. Pressure still exists. The charge itself burns out of a certain length, right? So in 5.56, it's like 14 inches,
I'm
13 inches, something like that. In 300 blackout, it's 8.5, 9 inches. What that means is, all that means is, you are optimizing the length of that barrel to completely burn the power charge, right?
Okay. We'll issue this correction right now. We severely overestimated the ability of a 5.56.
What's full burn?
20 inches.
That explains why the M16 was 20 to begin with. Because guess what? They took that into account. They said, we want complete powder burn.
That's a 16-inch barrel. That's long as crap.
Well, you look at the effective range, and I'm not talking about the effective range of a marksman being able to hit at a given distance. I mean the effective velocity-based lethality of the bullets in this gun drops like 300 yards from 20 to 16.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, that's the thing with it. Even just talking about the lethality of it, I can hit effectively. I've proven it. I can hit effectively at 550. That won't kill a squirrel.
Well, it may, but like that's where what we need to issue right here about lethality. Lethality does not mean whether or not it will kill. It is optimization to kill.
Yes, and the effective range is where that comes from.
You can kill somebody 2 miles away with a 22 shooting up in the air.
Yeah.
But it is vastly out of its scope of range to do so. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
And that's the thing that most people don't realize. The 5.56 is directly related to the 223, which is a 22 caliber round.
It's a little bit.
It is tiny. And the effective range of it is right at 350 yards, whereas the AK-47's effective range is 300 yards or so. I mean, if you really want that's one right there.
And we're not going to zoom it in to prove the point.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it compared to me right here. But if you want to talk effective range, we have better tools. 300 Win Mag, 50 BMG, 7mm Remington mag, 30-06, 308. I mean, just common rounds that we consider okay.
But it's a balancing act. We go with this in a military setting because it's good enough at a good enough distance, and it's light enough for the gun that can do that, and it carries enough rounds to be effective. That does not make this the best. This is not the best.
God, no.
It's good enough.
Honestly, in my opinion, M16, M4 AR, they're not even the best military rifle.
They're not. They are a solution to a problem
Well, the
at
biggest,
the lowest dollar amount.
bingo. Biggest problem is the lowest dollar amount.
Well, and that was it. I mean, they looked for something that was cheap, easy to manufacture, easy to maintenance, and was mobile.
And I will say this because we just said the cheapest, and you say, well, what does that mean? That means that anytime anyone ever hears the words, they were using military-grade weaponry for this this incident, for this
I think
job,
they
for
used the
this
cheapest
whatever.
thing possible.
That is literally
piece of
them
crap.
knocking. They don't realize it, but that is literally them taking a crap on the gun that the person was using, because that literally means the most dirt cheap that they could do.
Somebody calls this military grade. I'm taking offense.
I mean, that's the thing. You are going to insult me if
This-
you
this
call
right
my
here.
guns military grade.
I know everything that's gone into this. I know the year model for the serial number to know roughly the quality control from the factory this came from. And just because of my personal knowledge, this exact firearm, not including the optic, we're not going to get into that because the optic was an accessory he put on the gun. The gun itself is a budget AR. And this is better than a military grade weapon.
Yep. The only thing it doesn't have that the military grade weapon supersedes on is the fun switch.
And guess what? Most militaries are taking those off. They don't even use them anymore.
They're not effective.
The only thing the fun switch is good for is they needed something to issue suppressive fire without having to have a dedicated.
I could say that's it. Suppressive fire is the only reason why. Well, is the only reason why any military, any troop, any trooper would ever, any soldier would ever use a fully automatic.
And that's why they
does
backed
it
it
work?
off. That's why they backed it off to 3-round bursts.
That's
and
what I
you
was about
can
to say. Is
attest this.
burst is actually more effective because you are using less ammunition.
Well, that's when you run squads. And I actually watched a video of there was a terrorist cell that fired on a village that the U.S. Army was occupying, and it was a squad of 5 guys up on a roof, and they were taking turns. This guy would shoot 3, this guy would shoot 3, this guy would shoot 3, and it would just cycle. It was constant suppressive fire, but yet they were more accurate than just spraying, and their rounds were lasting longer than just spraying. And that's the whole point. They wanted that capability not to kill better, but to pin someone down without the need to have a dedicated light machine gun on the squad. Because a light machine gun is heavy,
Yeah.
It's not light.
Contrary to popular belief, it ain't light.
it's hot, and it burns through ammo.
And
Here's the thing for
and
you.
it's not mobile.
And it's
No,
not mobile.
I
And
mean,
guess what?
Here's the thing for you, and you can attest to this. The difference in the light machine gun and the heavy machine gun is one's a 223/556, one's a 762 550, one NATO 308.
Yeah.
That's your difference.
And-
And this one is heavier, but only because of the ammunition.
Yeah, and it's called a light machine gun because the cartridge is light, not the rifle itself. But that's the point. They burn through ammo. And guess what we just talked about military grade? Cheapest. Guess what the military's #1 cost is? Ordnance.
Yeah, ammunition. Which, yeah, it's because halfway we train to death, but that's just part of it.
But that's where there's so many misconceptions, and that's why you say, oh, well, you're just being a conspiracy theorist on these. I guess it will be a false flag operation. But if they're willing to lie to you and be disingenuous about the nature of the real thing, what makes you think that they're not willing to lie to you about an incident?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. You said it. It's the agenda that they have to push. It's the narrative that they're trying to sell. The fact is that this, that's the reason why a lot of, on another subject, the reason why you don't hear stories about good cops.
You only hear stories about bad
bad
cops.
cops because that's not the agenda.
Are there bad cops? Yes.
Yes, most definitely.
Is it a problem that we need to address? Yes, but why is it the only thing covered?
Well, here's the thing too. There's bad people.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
There's bad carpenters. There's bad plumbers.
soldiers. There's bad sailors.
Yes.
There's bad politicians.
I mean,
all
that's the thing. Why do we have to narrow them down to their job title? Yes, they are cops, and yes, they are bad people. Okay,
Yeah,
but let's address the problem that they're bad people. Let's not address the problem that they're bad cops.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not even. I don't even, because it's the same thing, and I'll put it this way. It's not a cop problem. It's a people problem. It's not a gun problem. It's a people problem.
people
It's not a
problem.
mass murder problem. It's a people problem.
Yep.
So you say, well, okay, it's a people problem. So why are these bad cops getting in? Because bad people, contrary to popular belief, are really good at hiding the fact that they're bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
And then by the time you throw them a badge and give them some power, it's too late.
I don't know, Hitler.
Only Man of the Year times 1943. Only FDR had a signed picture of him in the White House.
He was regarded as a hero in Germany for bringing about the end of the Depression.
He was regarded as one of the best people on the planet. 1943.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, though, is he was regarded as a hero. He hit it so well that even, I would like to say his own people, but he was Austrian.
Yeah.
He wasn't even German. You know, they regarded him as the greatest thing
Well, his own
since
countrymen.
sliced
Yeah,
bread.
his
Yeah,
own
his own
countrymen.
countrymen. He was the best thing for them. And then all of a sudden, we don't want to talk about Hitler anymore.
Well, they don't. In Germany, they don't.
Oh, yeah.
It's a disgrace to them.
You know, and that's the biggest thing is you can't talk about Hitler in Germany. You know, that's the wonderful thing about living in the United States. We can talk about whatever we want to.
All right, you had something you want to bring up.
Okay.
Yeah, and you ask how all this ties together, and we'll get to that because this also ties in.
All right, Portland, Oregon, as everybody knows, it's oh, excuse my language, but they've been riding for what, 56 days now, right?
think so.
56, 57 going. They're probably riding right now as I'm talking. But
They're in the
it's got
streets.
it's gotten so bad that uniformed,
Wait.
unidentified.
You're saying they're riding. But the
No, they're
media
riding.
the media is telling me they're peaceful protesting
No,
with
media's
Molotov
wrong.
cocktails.
Media's wrong, as always. Media's always wrong. What did I say? Yeah,
Unidentified federal
unidentified uniformed services had to come up and control the problem, which we all know who they are. They're Fed boys.
But here's the thing: why did they have to come?
Because it's gotten so bad that the own government of Oregon and the mayor of Portland can't control the situation.
But why?
Not only can they not control the
They
situation,
chose not to.
They chose not to. They've chose to be a part of the problem.
They're the ones that told the police, stand down.
The mayor tried to take part last night in the peaceful protesting of burning down the state house and got done up by a Fed, we're assuming, Fed boy.
He did.
Here's my thing with that.
Now, you know where I stand on
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Fed
yeah.
boys. This is the only time I think this is acceptable.
Here's my thing with that, and this is going to be a controversial opinion at the table. What's happening in Oregon right now is my point. Do I agree with the rioting? No. Do I agree with the methodology behind it? Also no. But I have to agree with the fact that they're doing what I'm talking about because their own government won't buck to them because
No.
their government is afraid of them.
No, they're not. They're
No.
not doing what we're talking about.
No, they're not.
They are causing calamity.
Well,
what
that's
they're
the
doing,
thing.
with no real purpose behind it. I mean, they can stamp on whatever purpose they want to, why they're doing it. You know, whether it's because an individual was killed or whatever. But you're not protesting anything walking out with that 65-inch television on your back.
Well, and therein is my point. If calamity can be that effective, how much more so would organized opposal to oppression?
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. They're not opposing oppression. They're opposing not having a 65-inch TV.
Again, though, that's my point. If they can get away with what they're doing it doesn't make any sense to me why more people don't stand
Okay.
up.
Well, no, here's the thing.
Wait,
though.
I understand what you're saying.
I've
understand
just
what you're
realized
saying.
where he's gotten to. He is talking about the fact that they have foregone repercussion.
Yeah.
But here's the thing on that, though. It goes back to what I just said. They have foregone repercussion because the local level government has said there's not going to be any repercussion. That's like if you come to my house and I tell you when you walk through the door, TJ, it's okay to steal my TV. You're going to steal my TV.
If I'm finding a way to get a hold of it, that's a nice TV in there.
But I'm saying, though, you're going to do that because you know why?
Ladder, my guy.
Yeah, I know.
You know why? Because I'm not going to do anything
I ain't
about
gonna
it.
do anything about it.
But now, it's went to the federal level, and the federal level has said, you know what? We're going to do something about it. And here's the thing that's happened. You're seeing less protesters now. Because now there is a consequence to their actions
On a different level.
on a different level. Just like if you walk in my house and you say you're going to steal my TV, and I say, no, you're not, because I'm going to put you down in my living room and then bury your body out in the field.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't come in and say it. I would just come in with a ladder, and you'd be like, what are you doing? I'll be like, just hold on, it'll be funny. And then as I start stealing your TV, you'll be like, I know what's happening, and you're going to kick the ladder out from underneath me, and I'm going to break my leg, and you go, all right, son, I'm not taking you to the hospital. You're stupid for even coming in here and doing it.
The rioters in Portland have already been deemed a terrorist group. Antifa's a terrorist group, which rightfully so. They they're communists.
Yep.
Communists get no sympathy, no.
Well, you don't even have
rights.
to be a communist to be a terrorist group, but yes, go on.
Yeah, but they don't get nothing. I mean, they ought to be put down. That's just my opinion.
Law, you can fall under fascism.
I mean,
Well-
that's what they are. That's they're
Well, I mean,
their
that's-
literal
Well,
term.
and this is another thing that, and just on that same set point, an equally related group, and again, I'm gonna reference YouTubers because there's a lot of like-minded YouTubers on here. Mr. Coleon Noir, love your work if you ever happen to see this. He has said, and I agree with him 100%. I personally, fully 110% support Black Lives Matter, the sentiment. I do not in any way support Black Lives Matter, the
foundation.
movement,
They're a
because
terrorist
the
group.
the two sisters that founded the organization are classically trained Marxists.
Yeah.
Well, let's go further than that.
The group itself is a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a group. It is an organization.
Yeah.
And what this organization is being used for is funneling money from corporations to a political party.
Yeah.
Agenda.
Well, it is actually the party that's receiving this money. It's basically a political laundering scheme. And you can believe me. You don't have to believe me. Go look it up for yourself. I would highly encourage you to go follow the money where it's actually coming from, because that's the biggest problem, is where it's coming from.
And another thing, I hate when I get into this argument, and I call BLM the organization,
Not the sentiment.
not the sentiment,
The organization.
terrorist. And they're like, well, the KKK is terrorist. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
We know.
Right. Yeah, we agree.
We know
100%.
this.
Don't disagree.
And here's an equal example of why it's so dangerous to start an organization for any reason, and I'm going to give you two parallels. BLM, the organization, was started with the intent to become a Marxist terror group. They have cells that are not that are affiliated with the organization. Those people, I'm not a terrorist. I'm in a BLM group and we're not terrorists. You may not be. But the group itself is a terrorist organization. Proud Boys is labeled as a terrorist organization. The founder of the Proud Boys has come out and said it's a drinking club. There are people, anybody can join, and there are people that have joined under alt-right, white nationalists, whatever you want to call it, terror cells in the organization. Because if you start an organization and you don't have a top-down infrastructure that says this is what we're about, this is not what we're about, and if you don't follow these guidelines, you're not one of us, then that's what happens. If you're BLM and you're not a terrorist, you're in a terrorist organization. Get out and do something different. It's not your fault, but there is no structure to the hierarchy. Same thing with Proud Boys. If you're in the Proud Boys and you are the original Proud Boys and you're not one of these terrorist cells, you're gonna be labeled as a terrorist because
I
there's no
belong to the
organization.
local town chapter. We wear white hoods in our meeting, but I'm not with the KKK.
Exactly.
No,
Well, you may
You are part of the KKK.
your chapter of the Southern Knights of Alabama, that's an affiliated organization of the KKK, may be a upstanding, upright group. You're part of a terrorist organization.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with it, you know. It's like you're saying, I wear the purple hood and I run the meetings. Well, you're the Grand Dragon.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Grand
Grand
Poobah.
You're not just in a terrorist organization, you're leading a terrorist organization.
You know,
Or the
and-
grand faux of terrorism.
and going back to what you was talking about with Portland and Seattle, we've seen it in Seattle with the whole thing with the military dressed men jerking Antifa members off the street,
Yep.
putting them in a Durango,
And just driving
and
away.
just driving away.
Was it
well,
Durango? I thought it was a caravan.
It's called the minivan of freedom.
Well,
Minivan of Freedom.
Minivan of Freedom.
Well, here's the thing with that. You have been deemed a terrorist group.
Yep. You are no
You
different
are-
than Al Qaeda and Taliban.
You are openly saying, I am part of this group. Then in my opinion, it's just my opinion,
You're gonna get treated like
if you get snatched off the street,
That's on you.
that's on you.
Well, and that's
Well, I
the
mean,
point.
that's-
That's the point I just tried to make. Is if you consider yourself a part of this group, and you are not a terrorist, get out. There are other groups that you can be a part of that will do what you're wanting to do. But get out of this specific one because you're labeled as a terrorist, regardless of
You know,
what
that's
you
why,
are.
you know, I saw on one of the, the social media things, somebody addressing that saying, last time I checked, kidnapping in America was wrong. That's not kidnapping. That's called incarcerating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that is, because you have chosen to be a certain way. It's no different than in the 80s when the LAPD went after gang members.
Well, that's what I was actually about to say. You know, you have chosen to come out into the streets and riot and protest in full black. You are no different than a color gang.
Yeah. That's
Well,
exactly
I mean,
what
that's
it is.
the thing.
Yeah.
You know, when the in the 80s and early 90s, when the LAPD said, "Oh, we're declaring war on the Bloods and Crips."
No.
If you got on red, if you got on all blue,
You may not even be
You
a
get
blood or a
jerked
crip,
up.
but if you're wearing the
we're
uniform,
stopping you.
Yeah.
We're going to pick you up. We're going to question you, find out what your affiliation is with it, because we're trying to put a stop to this.
Yeah.
Was it all done legally and correctly?
No.
Of course not. Of course, then you go back. We talk about the LAPD. There's a lot of stuff they didn't do legal.
Yeah.
But
And that's
LAPD is
where-
a whole mixed bag of nuts.
and that's where like we talked about before, freedom. You absolutely should have the right to wear an all red suit if you want to. But if you do, know that all red uniform is associated with a notorious gang, and you will be treated as such. And that's a repercussion of that. And I like drawing parallels, and I drew another one. And I drew another one in this same context that I get where y'all are coming from, y'all get where I'm coming from, but it wasn't the best parallel. But here's a good parallel. Why are the same people that say it's okay? Why are the same people that say it's okay to Molotov down private establishments say it's not okay to peacefully not wear a mask? Well, because not wearing a mask affects other people, and burning down buildings with people inside doesn't.
Well, here's
screw
the
that.
other argument. They have, one of the things that has come up about this whole mask business is it's better to have one and not need it than to need one and not have it. Well, ain't that the same thing we've said about concealed carry?
Yeah,
That's the same thing.
same thing.
My body, my choice. We've heard that in the past year.
Yeah.
Okay. Why does that not apply to masks?
Yeah.
It applies to other issues,
Yeah.
abortion, things like that.
Because it doesn't fit the agenda.
It doesn't fit you, and it's all comes down to everything you're seeing in the media, everything you're reading online.
Right
It
or left,
is
it's all
as-
agenda.
Oh yeah. No, okay, let's back up for a second. I am a conservative Republican. I'm not afraid to say that. I voted for Donald Trump. Guess what? Gonna vote for him again.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Donald Trump is not perfect.
Oh, God, no.
He makes mistakes. Obama was not perfect. He made a bunch of mistakes.
Great speaker, but made a lot of
Well,
mistakes.
and where did we get off on the president being the emperor all of a sudden?
yeah.
Well,
like,
here's the thing, and y'all are too young probably to remember this. There was a time in our country where Republican, Democrat, they focused on issues. They tried to find compromises. They didn't split everything down to party lines. And by doing that, they come together and ran the country and made decisions. And here's the thing, made concessions that everybody could live with.
Yeah.
And here's my question. This is just it. You've brought the topic to hand. Does anyone know what Joe Biden's running on? Besides, I'm going to get Donald Trump out.
He's running on his couch in his basement.
I think he's running on a life support machine. We haven't seen nothing out of him.
But I mean, that's my question though.
He diddles
What
kids.
is?
No, he don't. He
He sniffs them.
and bites one every once in a while.
But what is he running on besides I'm going to get Donald Trump out of the office?
That's his platform.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Do away with border wall. Make all illegal immigrants legal. Give a stimulus bill, another stimulus bill for all this. Let's see, what was the other thing that I actually read this.
Oh, he's going to make Obamacare even better, even though he didn't make Obamacare better when he was part of Obamacare.
Going to reinstitute Obamacare. Going to overturn everything Donald Trump's done. And also, he's going to make it... Yeah, we got one close. He's going to make it... Skunk.
I smell it.
Don't you shoot no skunk in my yard. And he's going
protecting
to also open up all the no-fly countries.
So what is he going to do besides get Donald Trump out of office?
Yeah, I was about to say, that literally is still just his platform.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's his platform. That's what he's doing.
No, that's
Boys, y'all better keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Something comes up them steps looking like a cat.
Don't
bet it.
I'm out of here.
shoot it. I'm going to freeze. But yeah, like, it's...
If y'all viewers, if y'all wondering, we're outside again like we have been here lately because it's been 1,000 degrees. We don't go in the shop. And right now we are smelling the essence of Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, he out there. You're probably right around that corner we're about to have to go around, and that's going to be fun. But anyway, back on topic. Yeah, it's so party split, and you can say what you want about any presidential candidate. The presidential candidate's one guy, right? So regardless if you think Donald Trump is a part of the agenda or not, the agenda's still there.
Here's the thing. The United States was founded on a principle that we would have three forms of government. Judicial, executive, and legislature. They were supposed to be evenly checked and balanced.
Evenly checked and balanced and out of each other's business.
Yep. And we have run into an issue since the water has been muddied. We all still focus on our president. There is a very major problem, and we want to ignore it, and that is the legislator.
No. I'm going to back you up on that. It's not the legislator. The judicial side has
They've been
become
screwing
too
us
big.
too.
The judicial side has decided that they can have input. They can literally change policy through the court system.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You know, the judicial branch was established in the idea that when a law was passed, they would look at it and go, this is constitutional, or this is unconstitutional, and it would be over. But now they have decided that they can have input on people's daily lives.
Here's my other question about that, because you brought it up. We have three branches of government. Since when was a three-letter agency with no branch powers at all considered equal enough to pass legislature on their own
Yeah.
without asking anybody?
You know, that was
And then have the Supreme Court go, makes sense to me.
Oh, I can tell you when that happened. And it's not the three-letter branch that y'all are thinking of.
What?
We're talking about the ATF.
Yeah, we're talking about
I
that.
mean,
That was
IRS?
the IRS.
Yeah.
The IRS is what started all that, because the fact is, they're the only ones that can forcibly, with gun and jail, make you pay something.
Oh, I'll make one talking about those because I don't like that three-letter agency either. This is my hot button opinion that is going to get probably the most heat out of any opinion I have. All taxation is theft. All.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You know, we were
Any
talking
way
about
you
the other
look at
day because there was an idea brought up that, you know, hey, should we give another stimulus check? Should we do this? Should we do that? And no, we shouldn't. But one of the things that come up was, why don't we just do away with payroll tax to encourage people to go back to work?
Yeah.
And I love that idea because I'm currently working.
And guess what? You know what would lower taxes? If we'd quit giving multi-million-dollar salaries to these, 300 some odd politicians at the federal level, or
Term
defund,
limits.
or I'm not even saying term limits.
Well,
Just
so
take
you
away
would
the
do-
paycheck.
You would do away with that. If you put term limits on stuff, a lot of this stuff will go away on its own, simply because the fact is, you're not guaranteed that person's going to be there next year.
What about these three-letter agencies that we don't need?
Public service,
ATF, IRS. Why don't we just go ahead and take their money away? Hashtag defund the police. How about hashtag defund the ATF? They're making way more money than the police ever thought about making. Guess where that tax money's going?
And they're doing nothing good with it.
And they're doing nothing good
I
with
mean,
it.
they were an organization literally founded on unconstitutional principles. They were founded to do unconstitutional things. I don't even know how they're still a thing.
To do unconstitutional things unconstitutionally,
Yeah.
just on their own,
There's such
without
things
any
as
check.
without any
Okay.
check.
Like everybody said, there's bad cops. There are a lot of good cops.
There ain't nobody in the ATF.
That's right. I was about to say there is no such thing
There ain't
as a
a
good
one.
ATF.
If you're in the ATF,
Wait, stop. No, because we've already dispelled what you're about to say. You may be a good person. You may be an ATF agent. Get out of the organization.
Yeah.
well, that's what I was about to say. You could be the salt of the earth, but if you're part of that organization, you daily stomp on the document that is your lifeblood in this country.
And that is
Alcohol,
my rant with
tobacco, firearms.
And now
Man,
it's
that
BATFI.
sounds like a convenience.
Now it's not even a three-letter agency anymore. It's BATFI. It's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
Well, I mean, it's all just an organization that's been put together. We funnel, not we, the government funnels money into it every single day for them to carry out things that need to be done to advance agendas. They carry it out to advance careers. But that you can basically tag that on anything.
And you know what?
Well, I mean, that's the point we've gotten to. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Investigate things. Quit arresting people just because you want to arrest people.
Yeah, get out of my
But
business.
you know
I ain't
what's
doing
crazy
that
about them? I'm pro BATFI. I'm pro BATFE. Hate the organization,
But I love firearms and
but
tobacco.
no. But if they would do away with the organization and come out with business for sale of alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives,
Hey, man.
you build me a Walmart with BATFI up on it, I'm in there every day.
Yep.
I'm about to be homeless.
what was it from Joe Dirt? Screaming Whistlers or whatever?
Whistling,
Whisker do's, whisker
Yeah.
don'ts.
Put them right next to the hand grenades.
You
But
want to
yeah,
up that ante? Here's a can of gasoline right next to you.
Hey, we're running long.
I'm going to cut a lot of it out. There's some stuff that's got to come out.
Yeah, there's some stuff that's got to come out.
It's, because
We're
Reynolds
gonna wrap
decided he was going to try to sneaky and vote from the rooftops.
You got to find that one. That's a sneaky one.
But to tie all this together, because I know a lot of you are scratching your heads going, how does all these different things tie together? They all tie together because of this. The principle
You're
of...
crazy?
Well, yeah, but the principle of a government being able to tell you what to do, the principle of that same government rolling over and saying there's no consequences as long as it fits their agenda, the principle of terror organizations being allowed to just get away with anything they want, and certain groups not knowing that they're terrorist organizations joining these groups, and vice versa, other groups being labeled terrorist organizations because terror cells get into the group. All of this is part of the exact same problem. It all is interconnected into a governmental political problem
Narrative.
Narrative and overreach. And that is the problem that we face in America today.
It seems so disjointed whenever you ramble on about it like we have. Well, they're talking about masks. Well, they're talking about guns and letter agencies and color gangs. It's all part of the same. It's all symptoms of the same disease.
Yep.
Right? What does vomiting, runny nose, diarrhea have to do with anything? Individually, nothing. Put them together, you got the flu.
No. Well, you got to mix in a little body ache somewhere.
Yeah.
Or COVID. Just who you're talking
Yeah, or
about.
COVID, depending on who you're talking to.
No, if it kills you, it's COVID.
Oh.
If you get well from it, it's the flu.
Yeah. You didn't
No,
have
it's good enough now. Just have it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you've got the case.
Ooh, since we're back to it, retroactively adding cases that you missed beforehand. That's why we have a spike. There you go. There it is. That's what's happened.
Let's talk about the narrative in the organization real quick on that. When you start double dealing under the table to hospitals going, the more COVID cases you report, the more money we throw at you. I wonder why we've got so many COVID cases.
Well, I mean, they already said that the medical field and healthcare, field was already underfunded like it is. So this is we're just writing checks now.
Yeah.
I can't wait for like the comments. You're so totally wrong on it. Well, prove me wrong. I mean,
Because guess where that ventilator money went? They had to buy them ventilators, right?
Yeah.
And now they're out for all them ventilators they bought. They got to recoup that somehow. Uncle Sam said, I'm going to give you a check every time you say COVID. And the head doctor, chief of medicine at the hospital's like, all right, how much do we owe on ventilators? Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, how much can we get away with before they figure out what we're doing?
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
And, oh, what was that? Had a bug land on my finger. Scared me.
Thought it was a skunk. I was like, how'd this get up here?
You are amazing.
What?
You will face down gunfire and just be like, a bug lands on you. And
Don't
you
let him
freak
lie to you.
out.
Don't let him lie to you and say it's because he's told me, he's like, you have this moment where you're like, get gunfire and you're so scared and you're pissing your pants and everybody's terrified, like, I'm gonna die, this was a terrible idea, why am I here? But then you look at the next guy and he's scared, so you start cutting jokes and you're terrified and your pants are useless, you gotta go get new pants. But you're cracking jokes, so it's okay because everyone understands that it's all screwed anyway. Don't let him sit here and be like, yo, I'm John Wick out here. He wasn't no John Wick out there.
But what I'm saying is, though, I
Right.
fully believe he has more fear of the bug than he does of gunfire.
But I will say this: out of everybody at this table, you are the only one that has face down gunfire.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Is it amazes me.
Well,
the
he's face
fears
down
that he
intentional
has.
gunfire because we have both had shots go over our head from poaching.
I was there one night.
Yeah, you were there for one of them.
Well, like I said, you're the only one that was actually fired at in the intent to kill.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I've had people shoot at me, but they weren't trying to kill me.
Why the hell were they shooting at you?
I was rolling yard.
Oh,
They may have been meaning to kill him.
No, because they shot him with rock salt.
Oh,
It was rock salt and rat shot, wasn't it? Yeah.
anyway, point of the story is you don't like what the government's doing, become a martyr, and we'll start firing.
No, that is
no,
not
that
the
was
point.
not
Oh,
the
that's
point
not
at
the
all.
point.
It wasn't. You wasn't.
Jesus Christ, there's a cut right there.
Way to cherry pick something out of nowhere.
Way to cherry pick literally the only not point.
No.
You would just as well have been like, the point is BLM's a great organization and we should all go out and burn down everything.
That'll be good.
Yeah. Point of the story is government overreach is a problem.
Yep, not gonna make me do anything.
Yep. That is the point.
And one acceptance of that overreach is an equally big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because the overreach wouldn't be a problem if everybody would stand up and go, this isn't what y'all here for.
Yeah. I mean, that is the
where it
thing. You work for us. That is the bottom line of the government.
Mm-hmm.
That's why our tax dollars pay you. Because we don't answer to you like a ruler. You represent us to establish laws and ordinances for the country.
That we
Deem necessary.
deem necessary.
And it's not mob rule that deems something necessary. That was the whole thing we were trying to get away from.
Yep.
Yeah. We didn't want mob rule and we didn't want monarchy.
Yep.
And now we have both.
Yup. Except instead of it being singular monarchy, it is a... Wow, they've still got a problem, don't they? It is a parliament of dictators.
Yeah.
And when I say they have a problem, it's Britain. Y'all have a problem.
You could almost
I was
call
just
it,
about to say, I was like, for the love of God, do not tell me what England's doing. I don't care. If it was up to me, it wouldn't even be a country.
you could almost call it an oligarchy as much big business money gets into it.
Wow.
All right, let's wrap her up.
Yeah, let's
All that
We can
said,
keep going.
there's been cuts, and this will be a continuation since we've taken the gloves off. And I'm not even going to say if you like it. If you like it or not, till we come down, this is the kind of content we're going to be producing. Till they take us off.
Wait. Not always.
Not always.
We're not going to make a promise that we're going to come up here and we're going to rant and rave every time we get on
Yeah,
screen.
we're not going to be political, everyone,
But I'm
No.
also not going to sit here and say that if you don't like it, we won't do it anymore like I have in other stuff, because we will.
Yeah, we will.
Because
It
we've
is our
decided
nature.
that this is
It's
our
who we are.
This is our voice, and I feel like a lot of you have the same voice that's not being heard. So until they pull us from the platform, this kind of stuff will continue to
I
happen.
mean, we get mad just like every other working American. We have
Oh,
opinions, and why can't we not have opinion on camera?
And if you agree with it, cool. And if you don't agree with it, cool.
Yeah.
Talk about it, argue about it. Someone will entertain you.
Drop
Um,
an address.
you really own this Addy thing, ain't you? But
But
no,
with that,
we
all,
are.
Yeah, all that said and wrapped up, this was the first of the gloves coming off. We have a lot of similar opinions. We have a lot of different opinions, but it's a whole lot of opinions that we were not necessarily scared to say before, but conscious about not saying before.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's less that we're unconscious of saying it now. It's that we are very conscious and we're going to say it.
Well, we have consciously decided to say it now.
Yeah. But hit like, subscribe, smash the bell.
Don't forget
Share.
Don't forget to get to
Share.
100. If you ever make it to
Share.
100, 4 of you get a bag.
we're trying to get our subscription or our subscribers up. So, and the way we do that is by you guys who
Uh-huh.
have been faithful to us, and we've got a lot that are faithful to us every week.
And I'll tell you.
Share our link. Tell people about it. Send it to people. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah, likes
use
and
it.
comments help so much because it gets us algorithm points, but the thing that gets us the most help is sharing it.
because we can bypass all that by just individuals saying, "Hey, listen to these guys," and if you like it, subscribe to it.
Yeah,
And
and
if
if
you-
you,
it takes 2 seconds.
I will put this in right now. I'm the one that does the analytics. I don't know that anyone else checks them as often as I do. I check them at least daily, sometimes
know
3 or
how.
4 times a day.
yeah, I don't know how to do that.
This last video has been shared. There's been some publicity to it, and this is how much you have helped us just for that. We have gone from 52 to 58 subscribers within the week.
Over the course of one video,
Yes.
and we had a down week because of the error.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
6
what we mean by
subscribers.
share. Some of you may not know. Word of mouth, like, oh, go check these guys out. That helps. Physically going, watch this, and then sharing it is what really helps because
Yeah.
it gets other people to click, which helps. And then if you do like it, or if you don't like it and you want to troll us, subscribe because that tells us that at least people are watching it.
Yeah. You know, and that's the biggest thing for us is we are slightly egotistical, so if we know you're watching, we're going to put more out.
Well, that's not even egotistical. The more subscribers we get, the more people it will start to reach. The more people it reaches, the more subscribers we get. The more subscribers we get, the more often we can do this. I mean, we would love if one day this was all we did and it was a daily thing.
Well, not to mention the fact, I mean, we're going to do this no matter what. We're going to sit around and talk about this stuff, and we're going to put a video camera up no matter what happens.
Yeah.
It's just the fact is that it you know, it's not that we're any smarter,
Nope.
any knowledgeable of anything else going on in the world. It's just that we feel like that we need to have a voice in what's going on out there, and for the everyday person, this platform is that voice.
Well, yeah, like we sat here and talk about a lot of statistics and information and stuff that none of us have any sort of degree in. But guess what? You don't have to have a degree in it to have an opinion on it.
Well, that's the thing with it, you know. He made the statement, we don't feel like we're smarter than anyone, and that's why I think this is so great, is that we're not smarter than anyone.
No.
We're not smarter than you. We formed our opinion, go form yours.
Yeah. And if you agree, awesome. And if you don't, again, awesome. We've talked about it before.
But with that,
Yeah, we're going to end it.
Yep.
And so, again, just like, subscribe, definitely share.
Social media, it's out there.
It is
Find
out
it.
there.
It's going to be in the links.
Instagram's been kind of dead because we haven't been able to kind of figure out what we want to do still, me and you. We actually get up on that and figure out like how we're going to do it as far as organizing it.
On a lighter note, sports fans, baseball's back. I got the jersey on today. Boston plays tomorrow for all my Red Sox fans. The bum Yankees play tonight, so I hope they lost. But yeah, baseball's back.
Well, since you,
Way to date the video there.
yeah, since you hit it, send it.
Okay. With that being said,
Again,
Go Sox.
for the
I'm
final
RD.
time. And I'm TJ.
I'm Jordan.
And like always, I'm Pops. Cha-ching, ching, pow.